Mark Walsh from Embodied Yoga Principles here. So I'm with my colleagues Katarina and Tonya today, and it looks like they're doing the same posture, right? Well, this video is on the context of a posture. So we have the posture they're doing, which is a triangle posture, or what do they call it in Ashtanga, Tonya? You don't know, there's another name. Okay, so whatever you call it, we could call this a triangle. And there might be some technical differences in how they've learned it or how they're doing it today. By the way, feel free to change sides at any point if it's uncomfortable. So it looks like they're doing the same thing, but there's a few other, as well as posture, there's a few other P's to consider. One is place. So they're doing this posture on a mat. That in itself is a place. That's a restriction of kind of movement and perception. Also in a particular room, in this case, both the same. But if one of them was doing this in a forest or on a beach or on the top of a mountain, that might be quite different. I imagine you're both experienced yogis, you've done this posture in different places. It is really quite a different posture. The other thing we have to understand is their relationships. Like, you know, in terms of like doing the posture with their friends, doing it on your own. In this case, they're doing it with, you know, on camera with one of their teachers present and with their friend next to them. That's quite different than doing it on their own or doing it as a teacher in their own classes, for example. So that's a different context. What's the emotional context? So if you come out of that for a moment to tell us, what is your, if you wouldn't mind coming out for a moment, what's your emotional context today? Like, how are you doing today generally? Just be honest.
I'm trying to do my best, like to be close to perfect.
Okay, so this is a context around learning that we've met before, yeah. And that she has that pattern of, tell me if I'm being fair here, that wanting to be perfect and wanting to get it right, particularly to please someone else. Is that fair to say, that it's on camera, or how would you voice it?
No.
No? Okay, got it wrong.
Me. Sorry.
Sure, but what's, you want to please, so you want to get it perfect for yourself?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So slightly off there, but there's a particular pattern, thank you for correcting me, there's a pattern there for you that's a particular kind of context of learning, we might say. And what's your context of learning?
I was trying, being a good student.
Okay, yeah, okay.
This is a very strong pattern, and I think in Russian it is stronger than in Europe.
Okay, so got to be a good student, got to be perfect. There might be gendered issues, culture issues. Yeah, someone else might be like, look, I'm just here to relax. This is me in yoga. I'm like, I don't really give a crap. I'm just going to do whatever feels good for me. Some people aren't interested in what feels good. It's not on their radar. For other people, that's all that they're interested in. Their relationship to authority. You have something more?
Yeah, being with you guys made me feel more comfortable and a little bit more relaxed and in a good mood. Even though I was trying to make a big effort, that was joyful.
Great, so the relational context here is really important. We're friends, we're colleagues, we support each other, and you know, that's really quite different than, you know, I've been in classes where I felt like I was being judged by everyone, you know, like, oh, you're wearing the wrong leggings, or you're too skinny or fat or whatever, and it's like, you know, that's quite a different relational context to be in if it's competitive, judgmental, whatever. Also, like, what emotions did you start the day with? You know, did you wake up on a good side of the bed or the bad side? Or what have they got to do next? Like, after this filming, what are you doing? Do you mind if I ask?
Yeah, I have like lots of tasks to do,
so
go around the city and meet people.
So she might have her head absolutely full of stuff going on. Now, if it was the end of the day and she kind of was just going to bed afterwards, maybe not, right?
I'm going to parents' meeting.
Okay, so you've got a parents' meeting. Again, it's just a different context, even though it's not in the room, but it is in the room. It's like, what if she'd just come from an argument with her husband? Or what if you'd just come from a really hot date with a really cute Russian guy? Yeah? Like, they're going to be in a very different context than if they both came in just, you know, from the office or wherever. I noticed this. There's a class that I really like on Friday afternoon. The guy called Jim Tarrant teaches at the Buddhist Center in Brighton. And it's the Friday afternoon class. It's 6 p.m. on a Friday. And everyone's like, yeah, Friday, fuck it, whatever. It's like a really fun class. It's real different from the Monday lunchtime class. Also, you know, the city we're in Moscow. It's got a certain speed to it. I speak quicker in Moscow. I walk quicker. It's really interesting. Yeah, my pedometer shows me I walk quicker in Moscow. What else is different? The season. So we're in October now. You know, when we do other trainings in spring or summer. It's real different, particularly in Russia, right? Like, people really go inside in winter in a quite a different way. There's also a political context. Okay, so how is it, you know, that a man is leading the video? How is it that to be told what to do? How is, you know, what's the politics that's implicit here? Like when we do this posture, there's a certain like, you don't like it, right? And there's a politics to behind why she has a certain response to that posture. Yeah. Does that make sense? Where do you notice like gender or politics come up when we do postures?
When it is in the relations, like supporting and competition, and more like male and female postures, like that are more familiar.
So some will feel more sort of stereotypically male or female, yeah? So there's always a body politic. So yes, they're both, doing triangle pose or whatever. If you want to do the other side, just because otherwise yoga people explode if you don't do both sides. Yeah. Iyengar yoga teacher, if she doesn't do both sides, it's not going to end well. So there's a posture they're both doing, okay, the triangle or whatever you prefer, but there's also the politics, the body politic, there's also the place, there's also the psychology, and there's also the people, the relationships. So these are the other P's, if you will. So if you're just looking at the shape, it's useful to study shapes in physiology and anatomy, but there's this much, much wider context that's always going on. You can't stop it going on. So as a yoga teacher, I think it's well worth being aware of. So thank you both very much. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. More importantly, however, get the newsletter. So the newsletter you do, is that right? In the box here? Okay. So why you would want the newsletter, so you hear about the best videos, so you actually ask me questions, you can reply to the newsletter, I'll reply. You can hear about events, teacher trainings, other things that are happening, and stay in touch more reliably. So newsletter there.